So before I move on with that model, I would like to do some small thing, which is a chamfer or bevel of the edges on that model. I prefer to do that because it defines the shapes better for something that is so simple. Although I have to tell you that it's a thing that complicates the process down the road a little bit. So maybe not don't do that if you're not sure if you're scared of yeah, just be careful with that. As you'll see down the road that I run into some issues with that and have to correct some stuff that complicates some um, UV unwrapping and modeling, adding some details, and it might not even be worth it, but it's just something that I like doing on these kind of shapes. So right now I'm just selecting all the edges, and now that I'm done, I'm applying bevel function on them, and that creates this small edge like chamfer on it. Once we'll be rendering it, or even in the viewport, you can see that the edge is a little bit highlighted now and defined a little bit better. I just noticed that my the legs are too close to each other in the model, and the mirror merging is affecting them, so we need to move them out a little bit. You can see I can see them in the edit mode, but I cannot see them when it's in the object mode once the mirror modifier is applied. So there are different ways you could decrease merge limit even more, or I could just move these vertices a little bit to the left from the symmetry plane, which in this case is easier to do and probably makes more sense. Or do both. Yep. Now we have legs defined better. And we have the chamfer and bevel. Once again, maybe don't do that. Um, but if you do, you'll learn a lot of problem solving skills that I'm going to encounter down the road because of that. Now let's add some more details to that face. I'm switching to the object edit mode and putting my cursor to the eye and adding the plane from add menu, which can be called through Shift A, as you might have noticed. Interesting thing about that is that when you add an object to the scene while you're in object edit mode, you're actually adding it down on the to the base geometry of that, not as a separate object. So I've added this plane that I'm positioning in the in the rectangular eye socket that this character has. Um, Scaling it to the necessary size and extruding it a little bit. You can call extrude function by pressing E on your keyboard, by the way. Now, extrusion just gives the same thing. It's not necessary in that case, but just gives more definition and volume to that. Now let's add some eyebrows. I know the reference doesn't have any eyebrows, but it's going to be useful for us to do it. So I've selected the edges and pressed Shift D again to just duplicate those edges, just so I have those there. I could have done it with the add plane function, but why? Because we have already those polygons there. It's easier to copy from them. So with scaling, positioning, and rotation, we can uh, give it the shape that we want. And let's extrude it as well a little bit, so it has some thickness to it. And as we've, because of the extrusion, there is no back face polygons there. Um, so I'm thinking maybe to add them here. No real reason. It's not never going to be seen, but basically you just select the edges around the empty area and press F, which will fill that if you have. Yeah. Now the eyes look kind of nice. We have the eyebrows. We could. Yep. So now that we've added some details to the face, let's add some definition to the arms and legs of the character. I'm thinking let's start with the sleeves. With Control R, I'm adding a loop of edges to the hand. I'm going to select the upper part where the sleeve is supposed to be and extrude it outside. In that case, we need extrude by normal, so it's the direction of extrusion is dictated by normal of the face that is being extruded. We got this nice result that gives us a slight definition of the sleeves. Of course, that results into this whole arm becoming a little bit bigger, not whole arm, but the shoulder area becoming a little bit bigger than the body. But we can just scale it down and that will solve the problem. The same, let's do the same thing with this shoes, feet area, whatever that gray thing is there. So I'm getting adding a loop of edges on the lower part, selecting the area that's supposed to be gray, and doing the same kind of extrusion, but now inside. So yeah, and we got this nice little detail of the definition of where the shoes are supposed to be, the feet are supposed to be.